Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, a more cunning and senior agent of the Western elite, boss of the RPF in Katanyi. Dear Africans, let us all support the Burkinabe leader Ibrahim Traoré and all those who resemble him. Let us fight together against Yoweri Museveni, RPF in Katanyi and all the secret or public agents of the Western elite. Open your eyes, dear Africans. The Western elite wants to destroy our countries by exterminating our populations and transforming our lands into their private properties or their vegetable gardens. Be careful, because in Africa, France is an agent of the United States of America. In addition, Rwanda, whose bloodthirsty army is in Mozambique, the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Central African Republic, Darfur, Sudan. This Rwanda is an agent of the United States of America, the United Kingdom and France. However, Museveni of Uganda is the rear base of imperialism in Africa in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. He is the cornerstone of the construction of the balkanization of all African countries since he came to power with the help of the USA, the UK, Canada and some African leaders, Juvenal Habyarimana, Julius Nyerere, Gaddafi, who were naive in being deceived by the US and the UK. In fact, since January 29, 1986, the US and the UK have worked with Museveni to ravage Africa. Somalia knows more, especially since the fall of General Muhammad Siad Barre on January 27, 1991. For example, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and his masters tried to take power maliciously in Burundi by assassinating President Ndadaye on October 21, 1993. Democracy resisted a few years, but they finished it off with a coup d'état by Pierre Buyoya on July 25, 1996, a few months before jointly attacking Mobutu Zaire. A few months before, on May 24, 1993, they dismembered Ethiopia with the birth of a new state that changed Ethiopia into a landlocked country. On July 4, 1994, Museveni and his masters maliciously annexed Rwanda without an official declaration. They have thus fulfilled what he had predicted during his official visit to Rwanda in Butare in 1986, when he declared, "Uganda and Rwanda are one nation." Juvenal Habyarimana, who welcomed him warmly, did not understand anything. He who was also an agent of the services of the Western elite. Here is part of the sly speech that Museveni delivered in Butare. There have been a lot of rumors recently circulating from people who are not well versed in politics, according to which the Rwandan refugees in Uganda are using Uganda as a base to come and attack Rwanda. This is not possible and it will not happen. I want to assure all the people present here that this will not happen at all. If you want them to come back, you can come and call them and they will come back here. If you cannot bring them back, they will stay in Uganda until we find another solution for them. So there is no problem with that. In fact, a Wikipedia channel criticizes Museveni in these terms. During his 3-day state visit to Rwanda in 1986, President Yoweri Museveni again allayed fears that Rwandan Tutsis of his National Resistance Army, NRA, would use Uganda as a base to attack Rwanda. Unfortunately for him, the RPF did exactly the opposite and is now in control of Rwanda. President Habyarimana's naivety cost him his life on April 6, 1994, when Ugandan missiles attacked and shot down the Rwandan presidential plane. Unfortunately, there was also Burundian President Cyprien Ntaryamira, who could not read the signs of the times. It was no accident that the two presidents were on the same plane. This was Museveni's secret plan to take power in Rwanda and Burundi on behalf of his masters. Since July 1994, Uganda and Rwanda have been led by the same army. They are truly the same country, the same nation, because their army wants to achieve the same goals. To be at the service of the Western elite. They are ready to put into practice all the orders of their masters who want to massacre the African people and inherit their land. They are at the service of death that comes from the West to cut off the heads of Africans and exploit their wealth without any human obstacle. The high command of this army is in the West. For example, both countries are all members of the Organization of Former Colonies of the United Kingdom, Commonwealth. One can ask the question why Rwanda entered it without having been colonized by the United Kingdom, and without being an English-speaking country. The answer is that Rwanda is a territory of Uganda for the moment, but we are not told. The two countries always go to war together and they are members of the same organizations or communities. It must be clarified that there has never been any conflict between the two, contrary to what many people who have been taken in by their insidious manipulation think. Everything they have demonstrated in this sense were games to manipulate those who do not know the modus operandi of the secret agents of the Western elite. It must be said clearly that even the famous Six-Day War in Kisangani was not won. They sacrificed a few soldiers to deceive the vigilance of local and international opinion. It was not even a mutiny within the same army that they constitute. It is a bloody scenario well prepared to deceive the uninformed local and international opinion. The proof is that it is the Congolese civilians who paid the high price. Since 2000. At the head of Rwanda is a man supposedly president by the name of Kagame, whom the imperialists exalt to hide the real manager of the Western elite's enterprise in Africa. Kagame is just smoke. The real fire-burning Africa in the name of the imperialists is Museveni. Kagame's actions are distraction maneuvers while the real operations that target the real objectives of the Western elite are led by General Museveni. It is not for nothing that he has been immovable since 1986. You don't change the winning team. In any case, the 2K combine very well in operations. We see Kagame on stage. But it is Kaguta who is the real actor. This guy Kagame, the administrator of Rwanda in the name of the imperialists, has devoted himself entirely to the service of the Western elite in their project to massacre the highest possible number of Africans while exploiting their natural resources. However, Kagame is only carrying out Kaguta's orders. The proof is that Kaguta has never denounced any of Kagame's barbarities, since he has never stopped being his faithful soldier who carries out his orders. In September 1996, the coalition of countries conquered by imperialism attacked Zaire, and they set the country on fire and blood. They left behind millions of corpses that they tried to hide by incinerating them or throwing them into the great rivers and deep lakes. The famous mapping report that the Western elite has muzzled says more even if it does not say everything. On February 26, 2003, they initiated another war in Darfur to destabilize and weaken Sudan. In July 2011, they dismembered Sudan by creating a state in northern Uganda officially called South Sudan. But in reality, this is a territory managed by Museveni on behalf of the Western imperialists. From 2020 to 2022, they waged war against Ethiopia, wanting to take the Tigray region from it. Ethiopia resisted. There were peace agreements. But these imperialists know how to persevere in their projects. They have not given up on them. They are waiting for a more favorable opportunity. Ethiopia must know this and avoid the caresses of Buckingham Palace, the Élysée Palace and the White House. At the beginning of 2025, they are in secret war against Mozambique in the province of Cabo Delgado and part of Nampula that they occupy illegally and maliciously. In addition, They are in open war against the Democratic Republic of Congo that they have infiltrated since 1996. Dear Africans, let us support this great country that would like to free itself from this yoke of the Western elite that will have lasted almost 3 decades. Dear Africans, the Western elite wants to forcibly snatch our lands from us using African traitors like Kagame, Museveni, William Ruto. The African people must react together to oust from power these leaders who constitute the shame and misfortune of our dear continent. The leaders who are complicit in imperialism must be dismissed by the African people themselves.